Floater Gang? Today we'll be overviewing the first day of the in-season tournament. Valentin, what were your thoughts?
It was
Um, we still get to see the Grizzlies suck again. They're 0-6 now, record wise. Um, but I was talking with my friends, we kind of all thought the in-season tournament courts were actually pretty cool. I think they should be doing a little more of that, like in playoffs. But also some of the teams in-season tournament courts were pretty ugly. Like, I don't know, it's just like the colors matter, I think, a lot for that tournament for the court. But Garland, we saw yesterday healthy for Cleveland. They struggled against the Pacers. Garland wasn't feeling it, but he's also coming back from an injury. Donovan was on fire. He's been on fire all season. And then we got to see Tyrese Halliburton do really good again. Um, I don't know. I like the in-season tournament, but I think it's going to take time to get used to. Kind of just like it just randomly kind of shows up. But I think it's kind of weird right now.
yeah. I mean, also so far, I mean, you talked about like the new courts, the jerseys, whatever. I think it's good. I mean, whether they're ugly or not, it's different, which I think is the right step. I mean, I think there could be a better step forward in terms of making them look good, and all that. But to talk more about the basketball, I mean, this was I mean, just all these sets of games were just like, I mean, there hasn't been like a day in recent memory that were like each game was as intense as this in the regular season. It was really fun to watch. I mean, like the Thunder Warriors game was electric. Obviously we saw the Pacers and Cavs duke it out. Grizzlies fell to 0-6.
Bucks Knicks, that was a great game.
Bucks Knicks too. Knicks almost came back. Brunson was absurd. Yeah.
Julius Randle couldn't shoot.
He just couldn't hit his threes, Brunson.
Yeah, he had a big one near the end though. Uh,
Well, so did Dame Time. He showed up too.
Didn't
Yep.
show up with refs. I
yeah.
mean, guys, you guys are Thunder fans, but how on earth? How on earth? I mean, from everything I saw, that's from everything that's been precedented, from everything the commentators said, from everything the fans and the players were saying, and even Golden State, like Draymond Green after he was almost like, I don't know what he was saying, but he looked like he was just shocked. He was like, "Let's go!" Like, sweet that 50 I passed the ref before the game really paid off. Like,
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, I have a bone to pick with the refs and the Warriors for seasons now, to be fair. But as far as
so
I know, rules say that was not a basket.
yeah, so everyone in the arena except the refs knew what the call was. Like Draymond, you saw his face, he was like, dang, sorry, Steph, whatever. Steph was disappointed. Like people were getting ready for overtime. I mean, and then I just can't believe they overturned it. I was in utter shock. I mean, and they said that it was because the ball didn't have abnormal movement or whatever. It's just such BS. Gosh, dude.
Like to be fair, like I'm gonna be honest with you, like from just like a pure sport standpoint, dude, the ball went in, like and nothing changed. Like
Yeah,
that from
so
that point, the reasoning is not wrong. The ball would have gone in, but the
yeah.
point is there are rules, and the point is there's always been there's from official rules, and there's always been the precedent of what is consistently the rule. You can't all of a sudden say, well, it didn't change. Like if that's the rule, that's fine. Make that the
So
rule. You
yeah,
can't just
so
all of
if
a sudden pull that out of your butt.
if they didn't call it in the first place, I don't think anyone would be mad. It's that they
No.
called it, it was clear, and then they overturned it.
Yeah,
Um,
that's another element to it. Adds another layer.
yeah.
It's
But
frustrating to have. We saw last season there was a big frustration about refs having very bad calls in the last minute of games, and that's really frustrating. It's also despite good start to the tournament, competitive start. In that light, it is a kind of a bad start, and I don't think most people are seeing it that way, and that's good. I don't want it to be a bad tournament, but we need to make sure that the games are ref properly when it comes down to it.
I would like to bring it to the players for the Golden State OKC game because there's a lot that showed up and a lot that didn't show. Like Golden State, for instance, Curry, fantastic game. Shot 9 for 15, had 30 points. He had 8 rebounds. He was their highest rebounder. Um, and then bench wise, Jonathan Kuminga, amazing 9 for 15, really showed out what
He's
he can
good.
do. Dario Saric really started off hot for the Warriors. He was
Yeah.
4 for 5, I think, at the end of the first or something like that.
Yeah.
But Chris Paul, 0 for 6, 0 for 2 threes. He made up for it playmaking wise. He ended up with 13 assists. But man, you gotta hit your shots.
I think he's 1 for 21 3-pointers this season so
Yeah.
far. I
It
think
may, it may even be lower now. I don't know.
that was after the game. I mean, that's insanely low. Actually, I remember last season we had gone to a game in Houston, and I think the team they shot something similar as a whole, and that was horrible. But they kind of reminded me of that. It's insane because Chris Paul, he's a point guard, and you can see the IQ's there, but maybe he is aging at this point and maybe struggling to hit a shot, which is a little bit sad.
He had 0 turnovers, which I liked. You know,
Yeah.
he's at least not turning over the ball, so it's really not a huge negative at that point. But missing still 0 for 6, 0 for 2 threes is.
I mean, so Chris Paul, he's still a basketball savant, and that will carry his career from here to whenever he retires. It kind of seems like his ability, though, is deeply depleted. But I mean, it's still incredible the impact he makes. I mean, you said 13 assists, 0 turnovers. It's insane. And
It might become like a new Rajon Rondo.
yeah. And the bench unit for the Warriors has been great this year, which last year it was the exact opposite. Or even like almost Curry's entire career. If Curry's not on the floor, the team's bad, you know. But that hasn't been the case this year, so it's cool to see. If you're a Warriors fan. But let's talk about OKC
Yeah,
perspective.
shifting over to OKC.
Yeah.
That one was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not scared to say this, and I shouldn't be, but Chet Holmgren's the second best player on that team already. I mean, his offense is already a lot further along than I thought it would be. His defense has been great. He just doesn't make a lot of rookie mistakes, and he hits shots. He's shooting like his true shooting percentage this year is like 78, which is absurdly high. I don't know. I just love what I see from Chet.
Yeah, honestly, they all play
Yeah.
pretty darn amazing. Like Jay Will, 8 for 12 field goals, 8
Big.
assists. He was actually their highest assist guy, which is surprising.
That's
But
J-Dub, sir. That's J-Dub. That's why.
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm tripping. But he had 6 turnovers, which is
Yeah.
pretty bad.
He had one that pretty much lost us the game. He dribbled off his foot and then ran into Clay, and Clay got free throws.
And then Josh Giddey, 8 for 15. He's shooting pretty good. He had 5 rebounds, 4 assists. But again, 6 turnovers for him also.
Yeah.
So
He was
really turning it over.
He was not great that whole game. He kind of turned it up in the fourth, but yeah. The turnovers were really bad last night. And that's something they didn't really struggle with last year. So I'm not totally sure what's going on there.
You know who didn't have turnovers and was an absolute shocking?
Lou Dort.
Dort.
0 turnovers and 29 points, 6 4 6 3-pointers. I mean, this man is on the court because he plays defense. And today he was we talked about the lineup before the game. I said Isaiah Joe will be starting to get them some shooting. I don't think it was over Dort, but either way, apparently they were not in need of shooting with Dort on.
I mean, Payson Wallace, who did start, was also really great. But to talk about Lou Dort, for a long time the whole thing was like, oh, he's great at defense. His offense is not there. And I didn't know if it would ever get there. But I mean, he's shooting amazingly from 3 this year. And I think he finally took the step as like he is a 3-and-D guy, you know. That's like he can do it, you know. And he can do a lot more. I mean, we saw that.
We saw him do it in the bubble against Harden. It was just unfortunate block from Harden for the game winner. And I don't know if it like ruined his confidence of scoring at all, but it kind of seemed that way because the season after he couldn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, he's been great this year. I mean, he is the perfect complement next to Shea and J-Dub and Chet and Giddey. I mean, it's awesome. You got any thoughts, Marvin?
Yeah, and back to Chris Paul. So on the season, in 6 games, my guy is shooting 4.8% from the 3-point line. That is by no means good at all. That is horrendous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the first day. All close games. I think the biggest margin of victory was the Nuggets game, which was, I believe, 11. But the Mavericks kind of were trying to fight back at the end, couldn't quite get there. Which again, with turnovers, Luka had 9 turnovers, I believe. Couldn't keep the ball. Nikola Jokic is crazy as always. But overall, I really enjoyed watching the games. I think the courts they're definitely different. But part of what the NBA was trying to do with that is make the in-season tournament feel like it's different games, which it definitely did. And I think the worst part, honestly, about the courts wasn't even the way it was set up. It was the teams that had the brighter colors on the court because there's no wood at all for the first time ever on the court, or at least like that's seen.
Yeah.
If it's a brighter color, that's all you see, and it just kind of messes with your eyes. Because
Yeah.
like the Bulls court was red and like darker red, which I think looked fine because you could watch the game better, right? But like for the Pacers, the yellow and the light blue was almost too much for your eyes to like really
Dude.
be able to completely focus on the game. But overall, I thought it was a really great experience and I loved it.
I want to hear y'all's thoughts about Derek Lively, man. He has
They're-
been interesting. Against the Mavs, he shot 2 for 3, which isn't bad, but like gotta
Yeah.
shoot a little more. But he had 4 rebounds. 4. As their center, he played 25 minutes too. So
I'll
Well,
tell you.
so whenever you're
I'll
going
tell you.
against, go ahead, go ahead.
Sorry. I mean, I think you're going to the same thing. You're going up against Jokic and the champs. I don't know exactly where you're taking it. You're probably taking it that route. I was wanting to hit that point anyway because it's the beginning of the season. A lot is to happen. Not too much to overreact to, but the Nuggets have looked fantastic coming out of the championship. They haven't looked like they're too confident. They look the right amount of confidence. They're still putting in work. They're hungry for a repeat if they can make it happen. And kind of Jokic, um, I put a bet on him and for points, and I was very confident, and he easily made that bet happen because Jokic just at will, he can get however many points he wants to.
Yeah.
And against a rookie, it's going to be pretty tough for the rookie. And the Nuggets had no problem taking down the Mavericks that were undefeated beforehand in a more high competitive
yeah.
game. So that just kind of just speaks to the Nuggets.
What do y'all think about the Mavs? Like, do you think they're like legit? I mean, they've won a
No.
lot of close games against a lot of bad teams.
Honestly, not really. They've obviously won a lot of close games, and in those close games too. I mean, unless Derek Jones Jr. is back and Grant Williams will be doing this all season. I mean, if they have to both score 15 to 20 points a night for you to barely beat some of the worst teams in the NBA, it's going to be a tough season for them, and it's going to be hard for them to be legit and make it where they want to be. And with Lively, I'm not too concerned. I mean, he obviously is a rookie. He has inconsistency this season. He has some really great games, and then he has some games like he did yesterday where he doesn't do much. To be fair, his mentor is Dwight Powell, so I mean he learns how to not get too many rebounds. And
Don't
kind of
hate on the
stay
go.
court.
Yeah, you have to stop. That's the reason why he's been so good for the most part. It's because of why Howell has been teaching him his ways.
But speaking of Jokic, that man missed 2 shots yesterday while scoring 33 points. He was 14 for 16 field goals, 2 for 2 threes, 14 rebounds. He almost got triple double, 9 assists. He was our highest turnover guy at 4, but he still ended up getting 1 steal and 1 block. So he did have an almost perfect game, I think. But that just shows like, a rookie was going up against him. He was just it was a welcome to the league, really, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
A rookie, he did this against Anthony Davis. He doesn't care who he's playing against.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, but he shot 14 for 16. Like,
Yeah.
he just
Well,
wasn't missing, really.
I mean, it's just like it's like we were talking about just ourselves the other day. Jokic is the most skilled center of all time. He's probably the most talented center of all time. It's just a matter of time until people recognize him as that. I mean, he's just so good, and it's just absurd to watch. I mean, I've never seen a better player, better center in my lifetime than Jokic. Obviously, I've seen better players, but
I mean, even that you could probably debate.
I mean, prime LeBron was,
Prime LeBron was basically Jokic with a 40-inch vertical.
exactly.
Okay.
No. But I mean, I have no doubt Jokic will get to like the top 5 stratosphere by the end of his career. He's so good. I mean, it's absurd to watch. Anyway.
I want to bring it over to the Grizzlies. Since I was talking about them a little bit earlier, how they're 0-6. They played the Trailblazers without Anthony Simons. Went to overtime. Trailblazers won.
Yeah.
Marcus Smart really did not have a good game. 4 for 12. 0 for 5.
No, they did not have Scoot Henderson either.
Yeah,
And who is the guy they're missing? Were they missing somebody else too?
Uh, Anthony Simon still.
that's what I
Yeah.
said.
I can't think of anyone else that are missing.
But like, what does this mean for the Grizzlies? Like, yes, I understand Jaw is a huge part, but 0-6, they lost the Trailers without Anthony and Scoot. I don't know. What do y'all think about the Grizzlies right now?
So, I mean, it's bad. They're not a good team as they stand right now. They're badly missing Tyus Jones. I mean, obviously, without being what I mean, they're missing Jaw. That's a given. But like we saw, they were successful without Jaw last year. That's because they had Tyus Jones. They still had, good dependable bigs. I mean, Jaren Jackson Jr. is really the only good dependable big right now. You're missing obviously Clark and Adams, and
Aldama.
yeah, you just picked up Bismack Biyombo, so you got that for going for you. But yeah, it's pretty bleak. I mean, the only person that could score in the half court is Desmond Bain, and he's been great thus far. So my most improved pick isn't looking that bad. But
Well,
go
Luke
ahead.
Kennard needs to get his shot back too. He cannot
Yeah,
shoot
he's
to
only made
six.
1 3 this year.
He's been
That
awful.
that's
So I mean, that's I think part of the problem, but you obviously can't put it on him. He's not that guy, but he definitely needs to start hitting his shots
Yeah.
because if he's not hitting his shots, that's a big blow on you. Because for him, let's see, last season he shot
almost 50% threes.
49.4,
That's insane.
49.4 three-pointer. Right now he's shooting 11.8 on 1.1 more attempts.
Yeah.
That's
That's not
insane.
good.
And let's look at it simply. Right now, things are very bleak in Memphis, but overall, they're not. I'm just going to be straight with you. Overall, they're not bleak. It really comes down to the simple fact. Well, for one, you have guys underperforming. You do have new look right now. You don't have Tyus Jones. It is completely different basketball. They are forced to play. They do
Yeah.
not have a playmaker, and that's the number one issue. Guys like Luke Kennard, guys, he has to make his shots. There's no pass, there's no excuse for that. But if you have a playmaker to get you the ball, to get you better looks, to kind of make the entire offense feel comfortable, lead the offense, which we know John Morant does it, and Tyus Jones was very good at doing that. I mean, everyone was surprised when the Grizzlies played so good last season without Ja that we kind of took that for advantage. We took that to mean, hey, they're going to be good again this season. They didn't really lose anyone. But that really goes to show the importance of playmaking and having the right pieces together. Because who is their playmaker? Marcus Smart. He's been having a problem with turnovers. We knew in Boston with that talented roster. What did they miss that championship year? A true playmaker. No hate on Marcus Smart. I think he plays his role great, but his role should not be to be the main playmaker. They have no one to be the main playmaker. And then obviously, again, to kind of give, I guess, the Grizzlies a pat. Right now things are bad, but they've had a lot of bad events happen. Ja is suspended. Last year, they in the playoffs, it started last year. Ja was hurt. They had the issue with Ja last season. Steven Adams wasn't playing. Clark wasn't playing. And this is still a team that was competing right against the Lakers. This is a very deep team that still is all the way up there, I think, where we think them to be. But they're missing their best player. They're missing Steven Adams, who has an enormous effect. Anyone that's played on his team, OKC days, they all say, hey, he gets maybe 9 points a game, right? 10 rebounds. But his effect is so much greater than that
Yeah.
by what he brings as a leader, as a screener, as a defender. And so this is what this team is missing. They're missing him, Clark, right? They're missing basically two of their starters. Jaren Jackson Jr. is not a rebounder. It's not what he does. So they're missing that, and they don't have a playmaker.
Yeah.
I would like to shine a little bit of light on someone that did great though for the Grizzlies. I think David Roddy, 8 for 14 field goal, 16 points, and he had 0 turnovers. But I guess kind of to the point, there's no playmaking for the Grizzlies. I think Mark Smart needs to take that step right now.
Yeah.
Be the playmaker for the team. Right now, with Desmond Bain, he needs to have the ball and just score. I think right now, yes, he can play making stuff. He was the highest playmaker with 7 assists.
Yeah. I mean, once Ja comes back, I think they'll be fine. But it's just depending on how bad of a hole will they dig themselves in these 25 games. And then you're going to have 5 or so games where Ja probably has to get back in game shape, or I don't know. I mean, it's not looking great for the Grizzlies. I think they could still squeak out a play-in appearance. I don't want to overreact too much, but it's not like
I think they should be fine. Once they get job back. I mean, it is very unfortunate Steven Adams will not be coming back. We'll have to also kind of see where Kalar comes back, but yeah, it really kind of comes down to a lot of those guys. But just having one of those guys back would be great for them.
the
I
police
think,
for sure.
in my opinion, the star player for Trailblazers was DeAndre, and I know Marvin hates. I think Lauren doesn't like him. But he was 7 for 11 field goals. He had 12 rebounds, 16 points,
Dominating.
1 turnover, and he had 3 steals and 1 block.
Hey,
That's
I just don't trust.
crazy.
I just don't trust Aiton, and so far I still stand by that. I still don't trust Aiton.
I mean,
Correction.
he's
I've never said I hated Aiton, and he's been doing great this season.
great. He's been
Yeah,
DeAndre.
exactly.
He's
Exactly.
had
I
or
don't trust him. He
he's
has
had
a
some
good
really
game,
good
and he
games this
doesn't
year.
like, and especially since they need him to show
That's the
up.
same thing he was doing in Phoenix, having a couple great games and a couple stinkers.
And the expectation is different now. He's not just a role player. He's supposed to be kind of a little bit of
Yeah.
that future center guy. And
Yep.
when guys missing games, sometimes you want him to step up a little bit more and be dominant.
Shaden Sharp though, he's looking good. I mean, he didn't have a great shooting game last game, but he made some big shots. Had that big block on Kennard. Um, uh, Jeremy Grant has had 3 straight 20-point performances. So I mean, there's some good stuff going on for the Blazers. I mean, I think they're definitely a team that could look to trade some of their vets at the deadline. Like Jeremy, maybe Ayton. I don't know, maybe Williams. I mean, I just don't. That I mean, that roster's just it's kind of weird to me. I don't know. It's a weird team for sure.
Yeah, but back to Aiton though. So I mean, he's scoring less. I think part of that is also just because I mean they have a bunch of young guys. Everyone's trying to score, but he's getting 4 more rebounds. His defense, at least statistically, is way better. His free throw's not shooting much, but is 100% right now. I mean, I think he's definitely improved as at least a rebounder and a defender, but I think as a player too, I think he's gonna be better in Portland. He seems happier. Chauncey Billups said before the season that he's happier and he's actually excited to like get things going there. And I think he's already starting to get things rolling, but he still has things to prove. He's not where he wants to be
I
yet.
think he just has a bigger role, I guess. Like he's more important right now to the team because like the Suns they had Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Like there's really no shine on DeAndre Ayton at that moment for the Suns, and now he gets a little bit of shine because he's one of their best players, I think. So I don't know.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think obviously they're looking for the future. I think Deacon's point, maybe trade a better, maybe don't. I don't know. They're not particularly competitive this season.
Yeah.
But it's really promising to see Shaden Sharp step up. Aiton is making progress. Still a lot to be wanted from a former #1 overall pick and expectations, but he's not playing horrible basketball. That's good. And I think a guy like Stu Henderson, who's unfortunately struggled, but hey guys, been a few games, as a playmaker and kind of a leader to kind of bring guys like Shaden Sharp and Aiton together and Simons, and you put a lot of scoring weapons around him and he can make those plays and then hopefully they'll score himself. We'll see. They should be in a good spot for the future, which is what they're betting on. They're not particularly looking to be competitive this year, but the talent is showing and they're able to take some wins.
Yeah. I guess we'll transition over to the Heat versus Wizards. The young guys did amazing for the Wizards. Like Advia, 6 for 8 shooting, 14 points. Jordan Poole, 8 for 14, field goal, 3 for 4 threes, 19 points. He had 6 assists. And then Bilal Koulibaly, 4 for 5 field goals, 9 points. And then Johnny Davis had a great game.
Mhm.
5 for 5 field goals with 13 minutes played.
Yeah.
But their issue here, I think, is rebounding. Their highest rebounder had 5, Daniel Gafford.
I mean, yeah. I absolutely hate the Wizards roster at the moment. Sorry, I don't hate the Wizards. I hate the roster at the moment. Or I don't hate the roster. I like a lot of their players. I like Corey Kispert. I like Avdia. I like Koulibaly.
The fit, it's a weird, it's a bad
It's just a
situation.
lot of weirdness going on.
Yeah.
I like Tyus Jones. I don't like Wes Unseld as a coach. Yeah, I don't know. It's a funky organization. They're in a funky spot right now. But the person I want to talk about from that game is Tyler Hero, because it seems like he's taking the leap that he's always been talking about. I mean, Marvin, if you could pull up his stats exactly, but
He's
I
had
mean,
a fantastic season.
yeah, I mean, he's the leading
Yeah.
scorer for the. I mean, his passing last night was also really good.
Yeah, he almost
Yeah.
got a second career triple double.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he was a rebound guy.
24 points on 9 for 17 shooting, over 50%.
Yeah,
57% from
five games.
three.
The last 5
Two
games.
steals, 3 turnovers.
The
Go
last
ahead.
5 games, 28 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and then 22 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 35 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 30 points, 3 rebounds, 5. He's just taken over.
Yeah.
And he's done a great job at that. I think right now he is the Heat's best player.
I mean, he's been playing like it. But I mean, it kind of sucks because the Heat haven't been good this year thus far. So Hero's not exactly getting his proper shine. But yeah, he has been Miami's best player so far this year. I mean, I think this is a good, kind of momentum builder. They had a tough schedule. So I think this is, their point of not necessarily takeoff, but I think this is where they start getting some W's. And those jerseys, by the way, absolutely horrible.
Yes, they are. I think they're probably among the worst. I liked most of them honestly yesterday. They looked a lot better on the court, I think, which is definitely a good sign if you can at least watch them play with those. But overall, they got to fix those jerseys up for next year again because they're not that great this season.
I
Duncan
mean,
Robinson-
hey, the idea could be really cool, right? So you make these new city edition jerseys every season for this tournament. You get these crazy cool core fight. The idea is there, but guys, why do they look so bad? Like it would be so cool to have these teams out there in like these nice jerseys for the special tournament on this court. Like just add a little more flair, which it already is. But like, imagine if they actually look good.
I will say OKC's looked pretty good on court as well.
Not the court. I mean, hurt my eyes, but
The court was kind of ridiculous. I mean, it was kind of like the Indiana court. The blue was a little bit darker. I'm not sure if that helped, but yeah.
Duncan Robinson, I just want to say for the bench was amazing. 7 for 11, 4 for 8 threes. He just really showed out again. Like
They need finals Duncan Robinson.
Yeah, they do. But with that, let us know what you guys thought about the first day of the NBA Cup. Let us know how excited you are. Thanks, guys, for watching. Have a great one.
Shout out Ken Thomas.